They say trust is the foundation of any strong relationship. I used to believe that if you loved someone, if you gave them your heart and your loyalty, they would never betray you. My name is James, and my story isn't one I ever thought I'd be telling. I was married to Sarah, my high school sweetheart, and the love of my life. We had the kind of relationship that people admired. Friends and family saw us as a perfect couple, solid, loving, supportive of each other in every way. I felt lucky to have her, and I believe with all my heart that she felt the same way about me. But then came the night that shattered that illusion. The night I discovered that the woman I trusted most in the world was hiding a secret that would tear my life apart. Let me take you back to the beginning, back to when everything seemed so perfect. Sarah and I met when we were both teenagers. She was that rare combination of beauty, kindness, and intelligence. From the moment I saw her, I was drawn to her. We quickly became inseparable, sharing everything, our dreams, our fears, our deepest secrets. We went to the same college, graduated together, and by the time we were both established in our careers, we were planning our wedding. The day I married her was the happiest day of my life. I stood there looking at her in her white dress, and I thought to myself, this is it. This is the woman I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. As the years went by, we built a life together. We moved into a small house in a quiet neighborhood, got steady jobs, and began talking about starting a family. From the outside, everything seemed perfect. Friends would tell us how lucky we were to have each other, how rare it was to find a love as strong as ours. And I believed it. I believed that we were different, that our love was something special, something unbreakable. But looking back now, I can see how blind I was, how much I ignored, all because I wanted to believe that the woman I loved would never hurt me. The changes were subtle at first, so small that I almost didn't notice them. Sarah started staying late at work, claiming that her job was demanding more of her time. She worked in marketing and said there were new projects, new deadlines, things that required her to stay late or work on weekends. I didn't question it. She was ambitious, driven, and I respected her dedication. But soon her late nights became more frequent. She'd come home hours after her usual time, saying she'd gone out for drinks with friends or had stayed back to finish a project. She'd brush it off, telling me not to worry, saying it was all part of her career. At first, I didn't think much of it. We both had our own lives, our own careers. I trusted her completely and believed she would tell me if anything was going on. But then I started noticing little things that didn't quite add up. She was always on her phone. Even when we were together, she'd be texting or checking messages. And sometimes if I walked by, she'd tilt the screen away or put it down quickly. She'd laugh at something on her phone. But when I asked her what it was, she'd say, "Oh, nothing," and change the subject. It was small, but planted a seed of doubt in my mind. The distance between us grew gradually, almost imperceptibly. We used to talk about everything, but now our conversations felt forced, like she was only half listening. I'd ask about her day, and she'd give me short, almost rehearsed answers, like she didn't want to talk about it. I tried to reach out to her, to see if something was wrong, but she always brushed it off, saying she was just tired or stressed. I told myself it was just a phase, that every relationship had its ups and downs, but the feeling in my gut told me that something was wrong. One night, she came home well after midnight. She told me she was out with friends from work, but when she walked in, her hair was a little disheveled, her makeup slightly smeared, and there was a faint smell of perfume on her that I didn't recognize. I tried to shake it off, to tell myself I was being paranoid. I didn't want to be the suspicious husband, the one who jumps to conclusions without reason. But that feeling in my stomach, that unease, wouldn't go away. The next morning, while she was in the shower, I did something I never thought I'd do. I picked up her phone. My hands were shaking as I unlocked it, my heart pounding in my chest. I didn't want to find anything. I wanted to be wrong, to prove to myself that it was all in my head. But then I saw a message from someone named Mike. It was from the night before, and it said, "Last night was amazing. Can't wait to see you again." My heart sank as I read those words. I scrolled up, reading their conversation, and the more I read, the worse it got. They'd been meeting up for weeks, maybe even months. He told her how beautiful she was, how much he missed her, how he couldn't wait to see her again. And she replied with things that cut right through me. Things I'll never be able to forget. She told him that he made her feel alive, that she couldn't stop thinking about him. I put the phone down, unable to process what I'd just seen. My entire world felt like it was crashing down around me. I wanted to believe there was some kind of explanation, some reason why those messages didn't mean what they seemed to, but deep down I knew the woman I'd loved, the woman I'd given my life to, was betraying me with someone else. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying our entire relationship in my mind, trying to figure out where things had gone wrong. I kept asking myself how I hadn't seen the signs sooner, how I'd been so blind. The next day, I confronted her. I couldn't keep it in any longer. I asked her who Mike was, trying to keep my tone calm, but I could feel the anger boiling inside me. She looked shocked, like a deer caught in headlights, but she quickly recovered, brushing it off as if it were nothing. She claimed he was just a friend from work, someone she occasionally talked to, but when I pressed her, her story started to fall apart. She became defensive, accusing me of not trusting her, of invading her privacy. She tried to turn it around on me, making me feel like I was the one in the wrong. But I couldn't ignore what I'd seen. I told her I knew about the messages, that I'd read their conversation. She looked at me for a long moment, and in that silence, I saw the truth in her eyes. She admitted to the affair, but she tried to justify it, saying that she'd been feeling lost, that she didn't know how to tell me. She said it was just a fling, that it didn't mean anything, that she still loved me. But how could I believe her? How could I trust anything she said after everything I'd seen? The love I felt for her, the trust I'd built over years, was shattered in an instant. I felt betrayed, humiliated, like everything we had together had been a lie. I couldn't stay in that house. I packed a bag and left, not knowing where I was going, only that I couldn't be there with her. The days that followed were a blur of pain and anger. She tried reaching out, sending messages, leaving voicemails, begging for forgiveness, saying she'd do anything to fix things. But the trust was gone, broken into pieces that could never be put back together. In the end, I learned that sometimes the hardest thing you can do is to walk away. Trust, once broken, is nearly impossible to rebuild. And though the pain was almost unbearable, I knew I couldn't stay in a relationship built on lies and betrayal.